Today I'm going to be telling you guys the best weapons to be using in the brand new split of Apex Legends Season 13 Ranked. I'm going to tell you what weapons you should be using, why you should be using them, and why they are better than the other weapons. Hey, how's it going? I hope you're having a fantastic day, and welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, I'm Dominate, and again, welcome to the channel. I post every other day to help you become an Apex Legend, so if that is something you are interested in, make sure you do go down below and drop a sub. So yes, the new split of Apex Legends Ranked has come out, and so today I thought I'd make a tier list for the best weapons to be using within the split. What decides where the weapons go will be A, the meta, and B, the actual map that is being played on. If you don't know what a tier list is, I do many on this channel, and if you go into the description down below, you will see a playlist for all of my tier lists for Apex. A tier list is a way of ranking things, so today we're going to rank all the weapons from D tier all the way to S tier. D tier being the worst and S tier being the best. Don't forget this video also has chapters so you can skip to see where your favorite weapon is instead of sitting throughout the whole video. But throughout the video, every little segments, I'm going to be linking videos in the top right hand corner which I truly believe are going to help you guys on the rank grind this split. So make sure you keep an eye out for those. So I'm going to get straight into it and starting off at D tier, we have the P2020 and the Mozambique. Now, the reason I put these two at the bottom is one, they are the worst weapons in the game, but I always like to describe why. These weapons are the worst in the game for a reason. They are not meant to be good. You might think that I'm absolutely crazy for saying this, but it is true. If you've watched my tier list before and seen these type of videos before, you will know that I always call these the starter weapons. These weapons are not meant to be used past the beginning of the game. You're meant to rank them up, if you get me. So if you land a P2020, then you rank it up to Alternator. Then you find yourself a Havoc. Then you rank up to a Wingman, and then you finally finish off at a R301. That kind of thing. You rank it up that way. These weapons are only meant to be used at the beginning of the game. The base weapons, I mean. So if Hammer Points was on the P2020 and the Mozambique, then maybe you would use them towards the end of the game. But as their base weapons, they are not meant to be used past the first ring. So that was D tier. Moving up to C tier, now we have the Devotion, the Alternator, the L-Star, the Sentinel, the Bochet Bow, the 3030 Repeater, and finally the RE45. Now the RE45 for me comes above D tier as it is better than the P2020 and the Mozambique. Yes, it isn't really meant to be used towards the end game too, but it is still a better weapon than the P2020 and the Mozambique. That's what puts it up in C tier for me. Now the reason why the Sentinel is down in C tier is because snipers are much more effective on a map like World's Edge than any other. You might put Storm Point up there too, but World's Edge is very, very good for using snipers. But the Sentinel for me is the worst sniper in the game at the very moment. The only different perk that it has to the other ones is having the charged Sentinel mode where you can destroy shield, but that's about the only positive for this weapon. So for me, it is a very good weapon and it is viable on World's Edge, but compared to any other sniper, the Sentinel is down at the bottom for me. Now the Alternator is in B tier, and I do want to speak about the Alternator real quick. It is a really good SMG, but let me know what you guys think about it too. Is it your favorite SMG, or is it something that you run until you find a R99? Something you run until you find a car SMG? Is it a filler weapon? That's what I want to know, because for me, I don't really think the Alternator is as good as it used to be. I feel like there could be two ways that this weapon could be improved. One is that the damage stays the same, but the fire rate increases, or the fire rate stays the same and the DPS or the actual damage goes up a little bit. That's how I think this weapon could go a little bit further on this tier list. For me, the damage is meh and the same as the damage. So it is an okay weapon, and for me, I really can't put it any higher than okay. But please go down into comments down below and let me know what you think of the Alternator, because it is a little bit of a touchy subject and I do want to know what you guys think of it. So go down into the comments down below and let me know. The Bow and the 3030 Repeater are kind of on the same level for me. I would say, is getting very close to B tier here. I feel like they could even be in B tier, as they are both really good pick weapons. And what I mean by pick weapons is not actually picking them up and using them. What I mean is actually picking away at the enemy. Picking away the enemy shields, making them use their healables, that kind of thing. They're really good at picking the enemy off at distance. But in the grand schemes of things, I don't really think that they are that good. No, they are really good, but they're just better weapons. If you're using the 3030 Repeater, the Bochet Bow, I think there just are other weapons that you could replace with them and ultimately you could play better with. Now the L-Star, I don't really know what to say about this, because for me, this weapon just isn't it. This weapon back in the day used to be absolutely insane, especially in arenas. But nowadays, you don't really see that many people running the L-Star, and that is for a reason. This weapon really isn't at the top of the game anymore. But when you talk about the Devotion, I have put it down in C tier because for me, it used to be above the Havoc, but as you can see, Havoc is not in the C tier. So the Havoc has been placed above the Devotion, and that is for one reason. The Havoc got a buff, and the Devotion got a nerf. The Devotion does 1 less damage than it did last season. It also takes longer to reload, and the mag size has been reduced. So for that reason, it's down in C tier. But talk about the Havoc, we're now going to move up to B tier, and we have the Prowler, the Havoc, the Hemlock, the Eva 8, the Charge Rifle, and finally the Triple Take. So I'm going to go straight in at the Havoc, and the Havoc had a buff this season, and I really think that this buff has done a world of good for the Havoc. It is a really good weapon, and it's viable to be picking up. So the buff that it got is basically the initial recoil is so much easier to control than it ever has been. So the main thing about the Havoc for people was that the recoil was just a little bit too much for people to actually come and master it. Realistically, for me, I know from my personal experience, it's really not that bad to control. But some people think it's hard, and that's fair enough. Speaking about recoil control, if you want to know how you can get 0 recoil 100% of the time, this is a legit skill to learn. And no, it doesn't even consist of you pulling down your aim. You don't even have to pull your mouse down. You don't even have to pull your joystick down, anything like that. It's a simple trick that it will only take minutes to learn to get 0 recoil 100% of the time. So if you want to know how you can get that, then you can click in the top right hand corner of your screen now, or in the description down below. I leave a link to the video in there. Now, SMGs have been dominating Apex recently for the past couple of seasons, and for me, the Prowler is down in B tier, and again, that is not because the weapon is bad, that's comparing it to the other SMGs. So the Alternator is not a bad SMG, but it's down in C tier, and that's because the Prowler is better than the Alternator, so the Prowler is up in B tier. But there are a couple more SMGs, which I believe are better than the Prowler, and so they are placed higher, if you get me. So the Prowler is really, really good. I like the fact that it is burst, and the burst allows you to readjust your aim. So if you're using something, we're going to get into it soon, but if you're using something like the R99, as soon as you miss a couple of shots, your whole mag would have gone because the fire rate is absolutely insane. But with something like the Prowler, if you miss a burst or two, you can reset your aim. You can then refocus your aim onto the enemy and start shooting again. You can refocus, readjust, and re-aim with the burst Prowler. And the same kind of thing goes for the Hemlock. The Hemlock is an outstanding AR, and it is really, really good within the game. But again, comparing it to 2 other ARs, it's not the best one. But again, with the same thing as a Prowler, you have the burst effect where it allows you to readjust your aim. That's one thing that puts the Hemlock above some other ARs. But yeah, for me, the Hemlock stays in B tier. Now we're going to talk about the Eva 8 for a minute here. It's down in B tier because realistically, there is only one other shotgun within the game. Because the Mastiff have been put into the care package, and the Mozambique obviously is not the best shotgun in the game. The Eva 8 has to take a hit here. So the Eva 8 is down in B tier, and that is literally because there is only one other shotgun in the game, but that other shotgun is significantly better than this one. So that's the only reason why it's down here in B tier. Just before we move on to A tier, I want to talk about the Charge Rifle real quick. As I said, snipers are some of the best weapons to be running on World's Edge, and that's because of the sheer size of the map. It is still the, I think, second to biggest map in the game, second to Storm Point. So these long distance weapons are going to be absolutely dominating the scene. And the Charge Rifle allows you to actually track people so much easier as it is hit scan, meaning that there is no bullet drop off. Wherever you point and shoot, your bullets will hit. So for that main reason of World's Edge being an absolutely humongous map and being able to have a hit scan weapon and beam people one out of the air and just on the ground, this weapon has to be up in B tier. Moving on to A tier, and I just want to say every weapon from A tier and above, so A tier and S tier, are the best weapons to be using in the new split of ranked this season. These weapons are a must-have. You must have at least one of these weapons within your loadout at all times to be having the best advantage within the game. These weapons are going to make it so much easier to rank up and get more kills, that kind of thing too. And if you want to know the best way to actually rank up this split, make sure you click this video on the top right hand corner of your screen now, which goes over how to actually game RP the most effective way this split. So if that is something you are interested in, make sure you, one, again, click in the top right hand corner of your screen, or 2, go down into the description down below and watch the video that way. So moving on to A tier now, we now have the Wingman, the Flatline, the R99, the longbow, and finally the rampage. Now the wingman has now been placed into the crafting rotation, so if you are wanting to use this, you're going to be having access to this weapon 100% of the time. So if you really want to land on a wingman, all you need to do is craft it. So if you are looking for one, you're going to get it 100% of the time. So that's really, really good to know. But now the rampage has also been taken out of the crafting. People didn't really actually craft the rampage because why would you? The weapon is absolutely atrocious. Well, no, let me rephrase that. The weapon is an absolute beast and is still at the top of the game when it comes to Apex Legends, but every single person knows how OP and how stupid this weapon is, so no one crafted it because we all have nice hearts. But now it's on the floor loot. Sometimes you have nothing to do apart from pick up a rampage. You will have no choice because if you don't find anything else other than a rampage, you're gonna have to use it. Yeah, so the wingman is really, really nice to be using this season. Not just this season, the split will be really, really nice too. The fire rate, the damage, the mag size, everything like that. We all know how good the wingman is, and it has been like that for a couple of seasons now, so we all know why it's up in A tier. So now I want to talk about the flatline. The flatline is a really, really good AR. It can be used at a lot of different ranges. You can use it as a long if you really wanted to. Medium is probably the best one, and up close is probably the best AR to be using up close. It is like an SMG when you are not ADSing. The hit fire on this thing is absolutely insane. The fire rate is insane. The damage is really, really nice too. So there's no reason why you shouldn't be picking this up. Again, the R99, as I said before, is really, really good, but if you've got aim, you should use it. If your aim is on a little bit of the worst side or not as good as it should be, maybe pick up something like the Prowler, because as soon as you start to miss a couple shots on this weapon, you have missed the whole mag. The Prowler, you can readjust your aim. The R99, as soon as you miss, the whole mag's gone, but if you can hit your shots, the amount of people you've got to be one clipping is going to be absolutely insane. Because of the way that ranked works, placement is still better than kills. Kills will mean a lot more this split than it did last split. So when it comes to endgame, you got to be up close all the time. But having something like the R99 is going to be a vital part of your equipment. Now the longbow for me is the best sniper within the game right now. It's really, really good in the sense that it can be used at long range, obviously because it's a sniper, but it allows you to get the people who are jiggle peeking. When people are jiggle peeking or just camping, that kind of thing, this allows you to hit them more easily. So to put this into simple terms, this is probably the most accurate sniper out there right now. So when people are coming in and out of cover, peeking you, you are going to be hitting your shot so much more with the longbow than you are going to be doing if you were using a charge rifle. A charge rifle is just going to tickle the enemy, but if you're using a longbow, you're going to be absolutely destroying them. Just before we move to testing out, make sure you do go down below and drop a like. Leaving a like helps so much more than you would imagine. It allows the video to be pushed out to people who need to see it. If this is going to help your game, it's going to help someone else's. So if this helps you, make sure you're going down below and dropping a like so it can help some more people out there. Thank you guys so much for support recently, by the way, too. We're about to hit 2,000 subscribers very soon. So yeah, thank you guys. On to ST now. We have the R301, the car SMG, the Peacekeeper, and finally the Spitfire. Now, the Spitfire is an absolutely insane weapon to be using. I do believe it is better than the Rampage, but the Rampage is just a little bit more annoying. The Spitfire capitalizes on people being stuck out in the open and absolutely rich people with no cover. So if you're looking out of a window of a building, let's say in like Capital City or Fragment, I think it's called now, innit? I'm pretty sure. I always call it Cap. So yeah, if you're sat in a building in there in Fragment and you're looking outside and someone's running out in the open, a Spitfire is going to be the best weapon to use. It's very, very accurate. It has an insane mag size and the fire rate is absolutely beautiful. So if you're catching someone out in the open, this is the weapon you want to use. The Peacekeeper is the best shotgun in the game now, and as I said when talking about the R99, towards the end game, you're going to be in people's faces a hell of a lot more. So using something like the Peacekeeper, it's going to be your best shot at that. That also complies with the car SMG, which is also up here too, but the reason why the car SMG is up here even more is because now it's in the crafting. Crafting for me allows weapons to be more viable because you know you can get it 100% of the time. So no one can get a car SMG every single game and you dominate with the car SMG, you're going to be dominating your games every single time. So that's the reason why these three weapons are in S tier. Now the R301 for me is simply the best weapon in the game. Fire rate is insane, the mag size is decent, and the damage is absolutely wonderful. It could be used at long, medium, and close range if you really wanted to. So if you are looking to pick up an AR, the R301 is going to be your best shot. That's good content video, guys. If you found this video helpful and or entertaining in any way, shape, or form, then make sure you do go down below and drop a like. While you're down there, you might as well subscribe to be entered into the next subscriber shout out. And don't forget, if you really want to, you can unsubscribe later. So yeah, if you found this video helpful, make sure you drop it a like. Thank you guys so much for your support. Once again, it's been my pleasure. Until next time, keep dominating, legends.